You know that weird guilt you feel when you're not being productive? That little voice in your head whispering, you should be doing more, moving faster, hustling harder. Yeah, ... that voice is lying to you. What if I told you that your so-called laziness isn't a flaw, but actually a sign that something deeper is out of balance? We've been brainwashed to believe that constant grind equals value. But here's the twist. What we call laziness might be your body, your soul even, begging you to stop. Not because you're weak or unmotivated, but because you're disconnected. And until you understand that, no planner, no productivity hack, no caffeine shot will fix it. Let's dig into this, because the problem was never really you. 1. Laziness is often just a symptom. What if your laziness isn't laziness at all? What if it's your system saying, I'm overwhelmed, or this doesn't make sense to me? Most people think they lack discipline, but in reality, they lack clarity, direction, or even emotional rest. It's like trying to run a race in the wrong shoes. You can push through, but it hurts the whole time. When you're unmotivated, the problem usually isn't your willpower. It's misalignment. Maybe you're reforcing yourself to chase goals that aren't to yours, or living by rules that don't fit your life. The mind resists what it doesn't believe in. That's not laziness. That's honesty in disguise. So before labeling yourself lazy, try asking, am I really lazy? Or am I just tired of pretending this path makes sense? That question alone can crack something open and lead us to the next big truth. 2. Hustle culture lied to you somewhere along the way. We started treating exhaustion like a badge of honor. Rise and grind, sleep when you're dead. And all those slogans made us believe that burnout was noble. But let's be honest, how's that working out for most people? Hustle culture is a trap. Keeps you chasing more and more, but never gives you space to ask why. And when you stop running for a second, guilt creeps in. You feel lazy for resting. But rest isn't laziness. It's fuel. Try running a marathon with no water. It doesn't work, right? The truth is, sustainable success isn't about speed. It's about direction. And if you're always hustling in circles, maybe it's time to stop and ask where you're even trying to go. 3. You're not broken. You're disconnected. You ever feel like your body is in one place and your soul is somewhere else entirely? Like you're going through the motions, but not really there. That's disconnection. And it often wears the mask of laziness. When we lose connection to our deeper why, even small tasks feel heavy. It's like walking through water. The moment you realign with purpose, though, everything gets lighter, not necessarily easier, but definitely more meaningful. And meaningful work rarely feels like a chore. So if your energy's gone missing, maybe it didn't disappear. Maybe it just wandered off somewhere more aligned with who you really are. Right? Time to go find it. 4. Your nervous system is tired, not your ambition. Have you ever sat down to work on something you care about and still couldn't start? That's not laziness. That's your nervous system waving a red flag saying, hey, I'm running on fumes here. Stress, trauma, and overstimulation fry your internal circuits. You might have the will, but no bandwidth. And if you keep ignoring that, you don't just lose productivity, you lose yourself. That SY healing your nervous system is one of the most powerful productivity hacks no one talks about. Try breath work, cold showers, long walks without your phone. Not because they're trendy, but because they teach your system how to feel safe again. And from safety, real motivation returns. 5. You're bored. Not lazy. Let's keep it real, some of you aren't lazy. You're just bored out of your mind. Doing things that don't challenge you, inspire you, or even make sense to your season of life. No wonder you feel drained. Motivation doesn't just show up because something is important. It shows up when something feels exciting, new, meaningful. That's why you can binge a whole show in one night, but procrastinate sending a 3-line email for days. If you want energy, you gotta find your spark again. Maybe it's learning something new, switching environments, or reconnecting with that one crazy idea you buried years ago. 6. You don't hate discipline. You hate pressure. Ever notice how discipline feels amazing when it's chosen, and awful when it's forced? There's a big difference between self-discipline and self-pression. The first builds freedom, the second builds resentment. The truth is, most people labeled lazy were just overloaded with pressure. Expectations that never matched their energy. Rules that never matched their rhythm. Eventually they burned out pretending it was their fault. So try this. Instead of asking, what should I be doing right now? Ask what would feel energizing and aligned to do right now. That little switch changes everything. 7. Productivity is not your worth. You are not what you produce. I know that's hard to swallow in a world that measures value in checklists, calendars, and hustle stats, but it's the truth. You existed before you got your first job, your first A+, your first to-do list. And you'll still be worthy when all that stops. When your self-worth depends on performance, rest becomes guilt. Play feels wrong, and suddenly every slow day feels like failure. But what if you're not here to earn your existence? The moment you separate your value from your output, everything shifts. You start living from wholeness, not for approval. And ironically, that's when real momentum begins. 8. Procrastination is often misdirected. Intelligence, you're not lazier, strategic. That's right. Procrastination is often your brain saying, this task isn't urgent, important, or interesting enough right now. It's a sorting mechanism, not a moral failure. Some of the smartest people are chronic procrastinators, not because they can't focus, but because their minds crave challenge and depth. Give them a real problem to solve and watch them light up. So next time you catch yourself avoiding something, ask, is this actually meaningful to me, or am I just forcing it? That question alone can rescue hours of wasted guilt. 9. You've confused burnout with laziness. There's a kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. The kind that builds slowly, from years of ignoring yourself. That's burnout. And when you're burned out, everything feels heavy even, the things you used to love. But society doesn't teach us to recognize burnout. It teaches us to shame ourselves for not pushing through. So we call it laziness, and pile on even more pressure, which of course only makes it worse. If your fire's out, don't beat yourself up. Rebuild. With rest, space, reflection, and joy. Yes, joy. You're allowed to feel good even before you deserve it. 10. Your environment might be draining you sometimes. It's not you, it's the room you're in. Your environment shapes your energy way more than you think. A cluttered space, noisy people, bad lighting, constant notifications, they all chip away at your drive. Energy doesn't live in a vacuum. Breathes through your surroundings. That's why changing where you work, who you talk to, even what's on your wall, can shift your whole vibe. Try this. Clean your desk. Turn your phone off for an hour. Light a candle. Play instrumental music. See what happens. You might just meet a version of you that was hiding under the mess. 11. Rest isn't a reward. It's a right somewhere along the line. We learned that rest has to be earned. That we're only allowed to relax once we've done enough. But that's a lie. Rest is a biological need, not a luxury. If you keep waiting to rest until you're done with everything, guess what? You'll never rest. Because the list never ends. We'll just keep running on empty, pretending it's noble. Flip the script. Rest first. Breathe first. Recharge first. That's not laziness. That's strategy. Even machines need maintenance, or they break. 12. Your energy is a message, not a problem. Low energy isn't always something to fix, it's something to listen to. Not your body, your mind, your emotions, they're all trying to tell you something. Maybe you need change, maybe you need healing. Maybe you just need to stop lying to yourself. When you learn to decode your fatigue, it becomes a compass, not a curse. It shows you what's working, what's draining you, and where you need to go next. So don't ignore your low energy days. Don't shame them. Ask what they're trying to say. That one question could change your entire trajectory. Conclusion. So, what if everything you thought about laziness was wrong? What if it's not the enemy but a signal, a messenger, a whisper from your deeper self asking you to pay attention? It's your move. Are you going to keep punishing yourself for being tired, or start understanding where that tiredness is coming from? Are you going to label it as failure, or see it as feedback? If this hit home for you, don't keep it to yourself. Drop your thoughts in the comments, share it with someone who needs it, and hit that subscribe button so we can keep digging deeper together. This journey is just getting started.